Peace, you know who this is. Family, you have to watch this video. I know I've been talking about this issue for a long time, but I'm going to continue to talk about it because I got to hammer this home. All these pro-black, fake pro-blacks, FBA, ADOS, Freemen, goofballs, new black media types are scrambling to try to somehow justify what ICE did in Chicago. Some of them are still denying that it even happened or it was even that serious. Others are now trying to make it say, well, it was that serious, but it's the Democrats' fault, or they was doing it to actually help black people. Today we got Pharaoh says that. Pharaoh says that is from Chicago. I'm surprised he didn't go out there to the place himself and do a video. But I guess he probably did, or he just decided not to because he knew it was going to be that bad, and he needed to somehow make excuses for Trump. But let's get into this video. Here we go, family.
I tell you, there's some news coming out of Chicago. I just want to clear up. People are saying that ICE is grabbing foundational black Americans. This is not true. This is
That is true, but keep going.
false. No, they wasn't grabbing black Americans over. That was false information. They did escort some black Americans out of a building, right?
Now they didn't grab them up. They just escorted them out the building. Keep it going.
Good to see you, Gail. But I'm going to tell you what that was really all about. I'm going to tell you why they were cuffed and escorted out, right? And why they were held. And this is coming straight from the facts on what that was really all about, okay? It's false information you got. I'm here in Chicago. ICE is not harassing foundational black Americans. They're not looking for foundational black Americans. They are looking for immigrants that are here illegally.
Not true. That's why the lady said in the news report that they also said that if you have a warrant, you will be going to jail too. They find something illegal, you will be going to jail too. That's why all the people that they arrested that day that had to go to jail weren't all migrants, and they all weren't there for like going to jail for like being in America illegally. Some were American citizens too. So we're gonna keep it going.
And that's the facts. If you lived in Chicago, you would know almost 2 million people here, like 1.7, 1.8 million. And to attempt to apprehend foundational black Americans would be a disaster. It would disrupt the economy, and it would lead to a lot of lawsuits. You know, it'd be a waste of money, time, and energy.
One, you said to try that. They did do that. Second, that whole city of Chicago is not black. Third, the lawsuits would most likely fail. Like there's like, I don't know how many lawsuits, active lawsuits right now against ICE that ain't going nowhere because ICE, unlike other law enforcement agencies, have a large berth in what they can do and it be legal. Like, for example, when you heard stories about ICE going to supermarkets and saying nobody in or out and everybody got to show me they proof that they're a U.S. citizen. The FBI could not do that without a warrant. The local police couldn't do that. The DEA couldn't do that. The ATF couldn't do that. But ICE can do that because they're immigration. Like when they come into people's houses or whatever without warrants, they argue that they're looking for undocumented people. There's a lot of stuff ICE can do that other police departments cannot do. Other federal law enforcement agencies cannot do. That's why they making sure when they going to run up in these apartment buildings like this and they doing everybody's apartment and they're not just looking for migrants, they make sure that they have ICE with them so they can say, hey, this was a part of an immigration raid overall. But we're going to keep it going.
So don't believe that. I've got the facts on that, and I'm going to share the facts with you. Yes, black Americans were taken out of a building. That is true. And held.
At least you're telling the truth about that, because other people was making it seem like it was just maybe one or two, three handful of black people who got taken out the building by mistake. They didn't even get taken out the building. They came to the apartment by mistake and said, "Oh, you're a foundational black American. My bad," and left. But at least you acknowledging that they was taken out the building.
How does ICE know where to go? Well, the illegal immigrants got cards, and people are calling in. People are calling, and people are reporting them. Also, it's impossible to hide. I mean,
Good question. Whoever asked that question. How does ICE know where to go? They don't know where to go. That's why they hit every apartment. They hit every apartment. They didn't hit some apartments, they hit every apartment. And even if they did know where to go, they still would have hit every apartment. Because again, it wasn't just about immigration. Because if it was, they wouldn't be trying to arrest people who they know are American citizens, looking for reasons to still arrest you, even though they know you're an American citizen.
you got to go to the store. You got to drive around in the car. You got to come outside. So it is impossible for you to hide. Mostly when you move somewhere, you're like in groups, and they get tips. A lot of white Americans and a lot of foundational black Americans call police on, call ICE on.
You said it right the first time. Call the police, because people was trying to make it seem like calling ICE is not the same as calling the police. ICE are the police.
If I lived here, and let's say over there across the street, there was a bunch of illegal migrants over there, Venezuelans, I would call ICE. And I don't believe in snitching, but I would call ICE on them. No, ICE. Yeah, this is Pharaoh all the time. And there's a bunch of them across the street in the building.
That's another thing I don't get about y'all goofballs. Y'all try to pretend to be these super duper pro blacks, and y'all hate the streets, and the streets is bad, but then y'all try to go by street rules of no snitching, and you try to make yourself not seem like a snitch, even though you are a snitch. Calling ICE makes you a snitch. It always has, and it always will be. Like, I remember, what book is that I read in high school? A Bridge Too Far, or a Bridge, some book about a family in Brooklyn. Somebody called immigration on somebody, got them locked up. The whole neighborhood stopped dealing with them like you a snitch. And this book was like written like what, 100 years ago. Like, come on, it's always been considered snitching to call immigration on somebody. But we're gonna let you keep going.
Go get them. Yeah, call them. Sure would. Yeah, call them. For sure. They've been here. There's been some intermingling with some of the Venezuelans, with some of the brothers and sisters in the neighborhoods. They haven't had any real serious problems, a couple of problems. Uh, Over around the O Block area, they call them the VDs. There hasn't been no serious problems as of yet, but there is the idea that if their numbers grow, they'll start flexing. They'll start flexing, and that'll cause a problem. So nobody wants their numbers to grow and end up with a gang war between the black gangs in Chicago and the Venezuelan gangs. We don't, some little scrimmages, but we don't really have problems with the Mexican gangs. We've been here together too long. As far as foundational black Americans protesting, there's not that many people protesting except Hispanic people and different groups that put themselves together. White Americans are not really protesting like that. And so those protests over by the ICE facility, that's just professional protesters. That's not that many people. And so in a big city like this, they'll show that and people will think that's not a legitimate protest. If you had a concert and them people came, your concert would be a flop. It's not that many people. It's a couple of professional protesters. But in a big city like that, that's not that many people. The Mexicans have a big population and they protest. They can get some pretty good rallies, but a lot of people Mexicans that come from Indiana, Mexicans that come from Michigan, Mexicans that come from Wisconsin, right? So they could, but the Mexicans were kind of protesting because they have their events and it's disturbing their event.
I'm about to fast forward this a little bit, because like, now he's trying to drag on. I'm not doing that.
So we feel like it's a way to cheat the elections by bringing a bunch of illegal people, turning them into voters, and then voting us out of all our positions. So
People who come to America illegally cannot vote. So what are you talking about? Let's keep it going.
and bringing a bunch of illegals. And then it would be really hard to get why we're not getting reparations. Reparations is not being pushed by foundational Black Americans. Not at all. So that's why the reparations movement is weak. That's a self-hate and a lack of.
I'm happy you admitted that. So reparations is not being pushed by black people or the foundational Black American hate group who the only reason they claim they do everything they do is for reparations and tangibles, even though they're not actually pushing anything. But we're gonna let you keep going.
Self-motivation and self-destruct any type of movement. That's we don't have a get down and lay down type thing. Yeah, I mean, that's how I would handle it, to stop people from going against the grain. So any black, or if they join anything else, but that's the biggest problem with reparations. Hispanics is not a problem when it comes to reparations. When it comes to getting what you want, the problem is you. And they do it. They just love to do it. They just love to be separated. The internet, so you wouldn't do that because at that point you were insurgent. But with the situation in Chicago, I just wanted to talk about it because people are saying ISIS is attacking Black Americans and they handcuffed them and they took them out of the building. Okay, let me tell you what really happened. I did my research. I talked to people. Okay, this is what happened. There were some very dangerous Venezuelans over on the east side of Chicago in a building. There were foundational Black Americans lived there too. But what they don't tell you, it was more. It was a lot of Venezuelan gang members in that building. And
Not true. Like I said, like what was it like when they evacuated that whole apartment complex? They made arrested like what 37 people, and all of them wasn't even Venezuelan. Cut that out.
these gang members, you have like two sets. You have the ones just in the streets, then you have the real foundation of the gang members. Now, this gang was created in the Venezuelan penitentiary system. After so long, the president of Venezuela made gang members the guards of the prison. So he made the gang members guard the gang members in the prison. So the whole prison became this gang. Then he kicked them out and forced them to leave the country, and they came up here. They also in a couple of other South and Central American countries. Their tactics is brutal. Torture is kind of unbelievable. I don't even think I could tell you what they do. And they have made it to the United States. Now, the media, the Donald Trump administration, they have to play it smart. They can't tell you, they don't want to tell Americans how dangerous these people are. So they're trying to clean it up without alarming the public. So when you hear that they came with a helicopter, a military helicopter, and dropped them on the roof, it wasn't because they were trying to invade the Black community. These dudes is like a evil, almost South American paramilitary gang. This is not no gang to play with. I got the information straight from the horse's mouth. I mean,
What is a paramilitary gang? Well, we're gonna let you keep talking.
city. So when they went in there, the reason they cuffed all the Black people up just was to get them out of there. They ain't got time to be trying to ask you to leave because they was expecting a gun battle with this Venezuelan gang. So the reason they grabbed the Blacks and cuffed them and tied them together and brought the kids with no clothes on and stuff, because it was a 911. It wasn't no time to get dressed.
And you heard it, family, right here and there. He's justifying ICE landing a helicopter on the roof, surrounding the building, and kicking in everybody's door in the middle of the night, zip tying them and bringing them outside as they were, naked and all. Kids, women, and children. Men, women, and children. He justifying it, saying that they was doing this to help you and protect you.
Because when they came in, they had to come in like paramilitary. They couldn't give no warning. So if you in there with your kids asleep and they finna storm the building, they got to wake up. You got to leave however you are, naked or whatever. You have to get out now because there's possibilities of explosives in the building and all that. So the media didn't tell the truth. The reason the Blacks were grabbed like that and taken outside with no clothes on and all that, it was a 911. It was a 911. They was expecting the worst with this gang. Okay? Now there's the video of his Black sister telling the whole story. It's all over in there. Go look for yourself. She's telling it. It was a 911. So it wasn't they just grabbed Black people and took them outside. They had to empty the building of people that wasn't in the gang.
Referencing that same woman who went to the building and took a video 2 days later and made it seem like it wasn't that big a deal, and the building was mainly filled with Venezuelans. More lies, but we're gonna let you keep going.
And that's why they went in there and tore the building up and ransacked the building. And the reason they tore the building up, because they pissed at the landlord letting them be in there. So they like, the hell with your building. Because whoever got that building is going to be in a lot of trouble. Because you basically harboring terrorists.
The landlord is not letting them do anything on, 'cause especially if they that dangerous, like you say they are. Two, what about the black people who live in the building? Because like you just said, they tore the whole building up. They basically destroyed it. So where are the black people who live in that building going to live now? That's the part I keep leaving out. Where do they live now? Where do they go now? Because the building is completely destroyed. Where do they live? Where do they go?
They let them go, but they never grabbed them to apprehend them. They grabbed them to get them out of harm's way. Ain't no put no clothes on. Ain't no get dressed. They hit the building, out. They grab you, out. Then they attack the gang. Ain't no orderly escort you out. No. They're getting you out of there as if it's a bomb threat, which it is with this group. So they ain't had time to get the blacks out of there in no decent manner. Well, of course, America's not used to paramilitary situations. So to them, it's like, oh man, black Americans and white Americans, a lot of them, you're not used to this. This is international paramilitary stuff. This is why they had to bring in the FBI and everybody with ICE. These dudes is, man, listen, their torture tactics, I can't repeat what that tell you. I cannot repeat to you what they do to people. On my soul. So for a lot of foundational black Americans, you just know the little shorties, Venezuelan gang members. You don't know the leadership and the real dangerous ones that was in that building, and that building was full of them. And they say that it was more of that gang in the building than it was foundational black Americans. It was full of these Venezuelan.
Who believes that? Even though I already addressed that, I'm going to address it again. Who believes that there's a building in Chicago, a major building like that got more Venezuelan gang members, not just Venezuelans, Venezuelan gang members than black people in it?
Terrorists, basically.
In a black neighborhood at that. Remember, South Shore Chicago is 83% black.
Dangerous. These are dangerous people. These ain't people that function like America. These are people functioning like guerrilla criminals, the worst guerrilla criminals in the jungles, like down in South and Central America. This is not. So when they say, oh, people drove by and they just seen the kids outside with no clothes on. And it was like, oh man, but if you don't got time to put no clothes on. If you're a woman and you got a nightgown and see-through, hey man, we've seen titties before. You gotta go outside. Because when they find out you're storming the building, they can do anything to the building. So now they had to storm the building, get them and get you out. Like storm the building, get you out, get them simultaneously. So they got a group running. Look, they knew where all the blacks was at. They had thoroughly looked at this building.
So now they knew where all the blacks was at.
This was a high-tech, like top military expedition, exercise. So they knew where the blacks was at. They knew where they was at. So you go in with like 6 groups, 2 groups to get the blacks out, 4 groups to go and get ready to go to war with these dudes. And it's got to happen at the same time. At the same time we kicking their doors, you got to be outside. And we only got second. So we ain't got time to be knocking on the door. We kicking your door in. You black, you out. You top. When you out at the same time, they kicking the door in, grabbing the terrorists. That's what happened. They had.
Happy you acknowledge that they kicked them black people's doors in, all their doors in, and zip tied them and brought them outside however they found them.
Time to explain to the black Americans what's going on. Because if they spend too much time, that allowed the gang to get ready. And they can't allow them to get ready. So they got to kick your door and they door at the same time. And while they running in them to get you, they got to snatch your black ass and they got to take you out. Clothes or no clothes. It wasn't, the internet didn't know, because imagine I'm driving by, I see ICE, I see black kids outside with no clothes on, so they reported it right. Because you're like, oh, they bogus, man. They got the babies with no clothes on. So it was the truth from the perspective of the people that seen it. To the people that seen it, they don't know all this. So they look out, see babies and women with no clothes on. And so they was like, oh man, ICE ran in and grabbed people, man, and put them out with the babies outside with no clothes on. See what I'm saying? Because they don't know. So the story was right. Yeah, it looked bogus because they grabbed everybody and put you outside. It looked foul. It happened right here in Chicago. I'm giving you the word from outside on the street. I'm right over there on 75th Street over on South Shore. This the building. They didn't really put them in the neighborhoods like that. They're everywhere, Lady Liners. They didn't really put them anywhere, Lady Liners. It was a situation where they didn't put them there. It was a situation where Trump was in office. You had Holman working with Obama, cleaning up the country. Barack Obama was putting them in case they was getting them out. Trump was building the wall. He lost. Biden got in there. Biden just stopped building the wall. Biden was old and senile. So Biden only was coming from 10 to 2, couldn't do nothing. So now the wall's not finished. Biden's not putting the money down there that Trump was putting down there. So they run across. They storm in Texas. So Abbott's down there, and the whole southern border is just full of illegal migrants. Abbott's know that Biden is a Democrat. Abbott, like, y'all just gonna leave them down here and leave this as a problem in Texas. So he started putting them on buses and busing them to Chicago, to the Democratic city, to try to get their attention that, hey, right? So Abbott put them on buses, sent them to Chicago, sent them to New York, sent them to Washington, D.C., even sent them to Biden's city. Which he was right to do that because they wasn't going to move with him down there because Biden was too old to do the job. Right? So they get here. So now they stuck with him. So now the mayor of Chicago is putting them on. When the buses pull up, the mayor find out. So they start having a tip line. Every time the buses come up from Texas, the police will come and make the buses go back to Texas with the migrant. Abbott started putting them on airplanes. They landed in Midway. They landed O'Hare. So we ended up with migrants everywhere, all in the police station everywhere. So now they're trying to figure out what to do with these migrants. Mind you, only the FBI know what's going on. Everybody else thinking they Mexicans, or people don't even know who they are. Only the FBI know that this is this group from Venezuela that the Venezuelans sent up here. So now the FBI is contacting Venezuela to get records on Venezuela and America's enemy. So Venezuela said, we're not giving you no information. So Venezuela wouldn't give the agencies the information. FBI.
All right, that's enough of this. I think I made my point because, as you heard, he's blaming Biden. Somehow it's Biden's fault, even though you're acknowledging that Abbott is the one who sent them up there, and you said he was right to do so, which he wasn't. But anyway, thank you, family, for watching this video to this point. Thank you for making it to the end. Make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell. Also, give this video hype points. Also, donate to me to support the channel. Donate to me for the love of the game. Donate to me if you want me to make something for you. PayPal, Cash App, Super Thanks. The links will be in the description box below and the pinned comment. Also, follow me on my social media sites. And on that note, family, peace.